distributed energy is a transformation for electricity system, and we really need to consider how do we actually work through that transformation.
So DEIP's a forum for collaboration and knowledge sharing between all of the different organisations that are working on distributed energy resources. So how do we get the maximum value for customers from new technologies like solar, batteries, demand response? How do we share knowledge amongst ourselves to get the best outcomes for society? What we're seeing is the role of networks are changing. So traditionally, distribution networks were just there to transport electricity from generators and transmission networks to the customer in one way, and that's still how they're primarily regulated. In the future, we think they're going to be platforms for a whole range of services for customers that still want to use the power for the appliances in their homes, but also export the power from their solar panels, use it to supply all sorts of different services. So that means how networks are operated will change, and how we regulate them will also have to change to keep up.
Today's event is the Regulatory Deep Dive, which ARENA has put together in collaboration with AEMC. So the opportunities today are for ARENA to really consider how it's going to prioritise its investments and its grants moving forward, ensure that the knowledge sharing that comes from the ARENA funded projects is targeted to the outcomes that have been prioritised through the conversation here today.
I think the biggest challenge for us is we all play a part in actually tapping into the DER resources, whether you're a retailer, a third party, a software provider, a network, a market operator, a system operator. I think we're all here to try and solve some of the more complex issues, and the first ones in the world to try and solve it, so that makes it really exciting.
Well, today really is a collaboration between ARENA and the Australian Energy Market Commission. We're hoping to use it at the AEMC to inform our regulatory work, get perspectives from a broad range of stakeholders on how regulation can help drive better outcomes, and then work with ARENA to see how can they use their funding for trials, sandboxes and other things to use that to also inform the development of regulation.
New regulation is going to have to optimise decisions that networks are making and the decisions that consumers themselves are making in their own home.
I think it needs to be flexible. I think one of the challenges we've had in the past is that network regulation is very rigid. That is changing every day, and I think that regulation doesn't change rapidly, so the most important facet and characteristic is the flexibility in the future to really allow changes to occur very, very quickly and not to inhibit that.
Well, we're learning as we go as well. This is an emerging technology, an emerging sphere. Regulation needs to change, there's a general acceptance of that, but how it needs to change is still quite unknown, and many people have different ideas. So today we're learning the different ideas, and I think everyone else is going through that same journey as well.